was interesting.
That is a big space.
Yeah, that's a lot. You should see them.
Just scroll through the size of a Costco, 80,000 square feet.
Costco's, I think, are bigger. The one that we have here is 150,000 square feet.
We got all sizes.
Hey, Moser.
So we are the birthplace of Costco as well. We got store number 1.
Oh, really? Is that my show?
Yeah.
I always thought the name was a little odd. It's maybe part of my personality, but I don't want it to cost. Like, I don't think cost should be in the name because it should be discount. Like, cost makes it sound like something that you don't want things to cost a lot.
It's not my favorite name. It doesn't irritate me, but I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I like Lunesta. That's like a great name because you can't name things that promise you to fall asleep, but you think of the moon at night, and the loon is sort of this,
I do like names that say what they do instead of just a dumb name that isn't associated with business.
Oh yeah, no, I was just using Lunesta only because the FDA doesn't.
No, it's a pretty name.
Yeah, it's a great name. I don't like, of course, they have a Briprexa, or whatever, and they come up with these names because they can copyright them and they're not real words, so they can own that name. But, what was really interesting was for a while the FDA said in an ad you couldn't say the name and what it did, and I think Dorothy Hamill was, I can't remember when this was, but she was still skating around. They did a block-in commercial, which meant was right before the first commercial after a show, they said they had the problem. Oh, I suffer from so-and-so. And they had some music in the background. Then they had a bunch of commercials. Then they bought the final commercial right before the show started. And they used the same music. And all she did was say the product name. She didn't say that it cured this thing. So it cleverly got around that until they eventually got rid of that regulation. Goes to show you, no matter what regulation the government comes with, someone comes up with a really clever way to go around it.
Using him shall have deed a gift from God.
My sister's pregnant. I'm gonna be it. Candidate Congressman.
Good Shabbos. The campaign's at 700 signatures. We've crossed the threshold to get on the ballot, but we're going to have to survive the challenge, and hopefully I can get another 1,000 signatures.
I asked you a serious question the other day, and I don't know if you heard it or because there was a lot of people in don't you need 700 signatures in your district or 700 signatures anywhere?
No, it's got to be in the district.
Oh, because I thought people were signing outside of the district.
Well, that's a possibility because of all the, the lines and everything. And I'm concerned about that too. That's why we have to try to double the number to get past the challenge.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, that's a concern. There's over.
There was a link. I got a link, and I'm like, I can't sign this.
No, you can't sign anything digitally. It's got to be in person on a pen.
Yes, I thought.
But when they go to challenge, it's more than 5 variables that they can challenge you on because it's every single field on that petition and that signature line can be challenged. And
including the signature?
Yes, everything, including the signature. They bring in a handwriting expert and they get an affidavit made. They go to the farthest limits and it's insane. They could take days to challenge a petition and literally eat up 24 hours of your time and make you respond to every single challenge. It's the craziest and most obnoxious process. And this time when I go through it, I'm going to record the whole fucking thing, or I'll try to. And it's just so obnoxious.
Live?
Well, yeah, last time I did it, I streamed it live on X. But
I didn't know this was your second go around.
Yeah, first time I ran for committee person, which is the same number of signatures as a congressperson in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's the craziest ballot access manipulation I had no idea all this happens, and it's what happens. The parties have individuals who will literally challenge your entire, all your petitions, every signature line, and try to prevent you from getting access to the ballot. It is the most obnoxious process, but I've got the time to do it. I feel like this is the only time in my life that I'll probably have this type of energy to do this again. It just gets more difficult as the years go on, and I'm in a good enough financial position where I can spend the time playing this game and trying to get in, and we'll see what happens. But it's really not me. It's the individual in Rockford that I hired who's doing all the petition signatures, Heather, and her team. She's working with her husband, she's working with her neighbor, she's got two other people, and they're going to every single, major hotspot, high density gathering. And but like you said, how many of the signers are in district? Is 200 of them out of district? And so you can do a lot of analysis on all your signatures. There's like a whole post signature gathering game of like organizing and really trying to figure out your true numbers and making adjustments and actions based on that. So there's a huge analytics and analysis component of this, which requires really, really in-depth secretarial work and note taking. Like I've seen the Republicans do extreme analysis on these petitions, and so it's a lot of work. But yeah, this is where we're at now. I need money though. We have burned through $1,200, and it's $1.50 a signature. I mean, I would love to be spending $300 a day minimum gathering signatures in Rockford, and I think we can achieve that. Honestly, and it's all because of Heather. Heather is extremely organized, and they need money, and they're working hard, and they're talking to people, and they're taking down people's to dos and priorities on the backs of every petition. So we're gathering data as we're gathering petition signatures. And I onboarded Heather through Clubhouse, so I hope soon. Maybe I'm thinking maybe even today or tomorrow to try to get her and her team on Clubhouse, because everybody had to onboard through Clubhouse, download the app, and do an introduction and state their priorities. So Clubhouse has been the conference call of choice for this campaign.
Hey David, I found a used version of the Modernist pizza for $159 instead of $400.
Awesome.
I put it in the chat.
I just copied that. Thank you, and thank you for the links. We have something called Third Place Books. We have some good used bookstores up here. I imagine that book, if anybody knows what they got, it's like being in an antique store.
Hold on just a minute. John, are we being streamed right now?
Are we being what?
No, go to my live.
Right
no, go to my. You don't need to ask me. Go to my YouTube and look for yourself.
I don't want to. I'm just gonna ask you and take you at your word.
My cameras are pointing towards Patty's politically correct, but I have her volume turned down. Would you like me to leave the room?
No, I just want to know that I'm not being streamed. If I'm not, you are welcome to stay.
And David,
Mostly, I don't have a problem with what you say, John. I really don't. I agree with you 9 times out of 10 on pretty much everything.
We've just been talking campaign logistics.
I just want to make sure, and I'm actually happy to talk about that.
Yeah, David, you're probably right that locally where you are, because that's where the author is and the publisher, all of the, he probably gave away a lot of review books, review versions, and if you get a free review version, you sell it. So
Think about that,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
even signed.
yeah. So you might you of all the people in the United States, you are the most likely to find that on a shelf in a used bookstore where you are.
Whoever believes
Some,
has eternal life.
so,
Now you go out and find more.
yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I mean, there's one
You
3
can
blocks
pray
from
for anything.
my building where I work.
And
So,
if you believe that you
we
received
march into
it,
there,
it will be
and they own a
yours.
couple of them. Seattle at one time had more book readership per capita than any state, anywhere in the country because of our weather. We have so much
For
great weather.
2023, the John Kerry family private jet was.
Yeah, because if you get that book, you will not be disappointed. Now, I don't have my own copy, but I literally almost do because my library has it, and nobody knows it's there, so nobody ever checks it out but me.
The Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives:
R-E-L.
love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
Put
faithfulness,
a link in the
gentleness.
chat. It's pretty illuminating. It's a Palestinian, former, he calls himself former Palestinian, on his take on the fact, even the name or the suggestion of whether he is a Palestine. Pretty interesting.
I don't understand his comment about October 8th because the PA has never even commented on October 7th.
This is in the dust jacket by Elise Levi.
Yeah, just watch it.
This will be the last thing I read.
Because one of
In the
the
lightning
strange
of the
thing
world,
was
more
that
than
there's such a
by
burden
reason,
for peace. Why did they
and
condemn?
justice. If your will be
What
uncertain and
about
fascinating,
zero?
either X slays its dams and sighs, in
Read an
me
article about that a couple months ago.
rise.
About the silence from the PA.
Lead me
October
to
7th.
those exalted
I think
skies.
that's what he's talking about. That they are
To
they
live
declare
and love
He made it
and
sound like they declared war on Israel
understand.
on October 8th.
Is that just
Paying Christ, accepting not, gaining admission to the imagination,
because I took him like that
remains
metaphorically,
and
but that
thinks
is
not
what he said.
that I see.
I would agree.
Spencer's son, again this, reverend, for the finger on the resistance box we was helps to me. A taught me B. He stopped my bocce at my team.
No pun intended.
And
Going around that you were off the app, so good to see you.
mentioned though.
Files released.
The Democrats
that
that
that you're sort of 50-50 about, but they're doing it because they think it's
That's
politically convenient.
And it reveals a turbine.
Yeah, I don't know a little more about what the political upside is. Thank you, Joe, for all of your outside folks. I could talk food all day long.
Well, I liked it too, so anytime.
You know, Jerome, you and Elle should get together. You got the food angle, she's got the wine angle.
This skinny guy proved that God always turns evil.
We have
Consulting business.
we have talked already. I've gone to the website, checked things out, and everything.
I'm talking about selling together to a third party.
Who cannot give? So
Oh, you
don't
wanna
be
commercialize
troubled.
it?
Is such
Yeah,
your soul,
the two knowledges
If you
together,
find it,
you guys
there will be a
like
future.
nothing holding you guys back.
and your hope will not be cut off.
Cover all the bases. You just need
And
like
do
a
all
within the towel
things through
expert.
Christ who strengthens me.
A friend of mine had learned
Another
business.
plans I have for you, declares the
It was very
Lord,
interesting
plans for
business.
welfare and not for evil.
A lot of money.
Give you a future
Yeah,
and hope.
he did hand over fist.
Good
But
lot of
I
land.
thought it was
Wisdom from above
simplistic.
is
I thought it
first
was very
pure,
simplistic. And that was
peaceable,
complex business.
gentle,
Whereabouts
open
was
to
his
reason,
It was
full
a
of
model
mercy and good
He had
fruits, impartial
five
and
distribution
sincere.
centers around the
And
country.
the harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make
Austin, Texas, like
peace.
Nashville.
Such
To be
is
honest,
so
you tell me,
indeed a gift
but,
from God.
I know what we used to use
Where your
those words
treasure
for,
is,
and I
there your
never,
heart will be also.
in my own mind, wondered if they could get them clean enough. I love
It
them.
is more blessed to
but
give
give me just a
than
paper napkin right now.
to receive.
And there's something about those fine linen
Whatever you did,
when they're just
from
pressed
one
and
of the
clean and
least of
folded.
his brothers,
You know, you walk up to a
insistence
table
of mine you
and
did for
unfold it. It's
me.
just such a feeling. Like I'm getting off on it.
The Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. Love, joy,
There was a certain percentage,
peace,
I can't remember what, I think it was like about 8% that were just
kindness,
beyond cleaning. That
goodness,
just was cost of doing business.
faithfulness,
We just throw it out,
gentleness,
you know, and just.
and
I was worried about
they
the
sell
other 92%.
Yeah, they do.
control. They sell them at the rag market. They sell them
They
used.
sell rag.
Don't
My
understand it.
Russian grandfather was a
Seek
rag.
his will in
That's all I
all
did
you
was
do,
collect rags.
and he will
kinda
show
clean 'em up
you
and
which
sell them
path
gas
to
stations.
and him
Yeah.
shall
He
have
wasn't
its
well
own
educated. He was
you.
a religious man. He's a great guy. At a
Rejoice because you.
I was gonna call him a seamstress, but he could sew. But
Whoever believes.
They're not benefiting any of the people. As evidence, another problem we just witnessed in Minneapolis. So stop doing what he was doing. They were trying to do it.
Its primary purpose is over, so now it needs to be recycled into something, and then there's people that's cash to them.
When I worked for Hardee's and Carl's Jr., we had our own food processing plants and distribution company, and we sold a lot of full muscle chicken for chicken sandwiches, and we would get the chickens and we would make the chicken breasts for the sandwiches. Well, we got the rest of the chicken. We sold we called it byproduct. We sold all of it. And we were doing for a while almost all the chicken wings for Hooters because we didn't sell chicken wings. Now, we did sell at that time bone-in chicken, but we were buying fresh chicken for that and having it delivered to the stores. The stuff in the processing plant was to make frozen chicken breasts for sandwiches only, and we sell the rest of it to pet food manufacturers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
None of it went away. None of it.
Wow, this is such an interesting conversation. Rafi always runs the best rooms. Thank you, Rafi.
and not only that, in fact, I'm going to add to it if you don't interrupt. When McDonald's called Purdue and said that we want to make McNuggets, Purdue could not say no to McDonald's. They did not know how to make a McNugget, and they had to learn really quick.
Shut up the criticism, David.
Well, it's Shabbos. You know, you're supposed to keep things holy, and it's also Rosh Hashanah. And I'd like 60 seconds of your time to read to you a poem from the
Shut
Tanya.
the fuck up, you Taoist.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
What did you just say to me?
Okay, anybody pick a number 1 through 50. Go
Is
ahead.
there a fake Rafi here?
36.
13. Right.
18.
Okay, we're gonna go with Yakov's 13. Here we go.
Am I gonna win?
69.
18.
1 through 50.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care. 69.
Okay, this is by the Alter Rebbe. It's called Internal Conflict. So take the deepest breath of the day, hold it for 10 seconds. The in-betweener is judged by both inclinations, judged by them, not ruled by them. The in-betweener listens to the claims of both inclinations and judges between them. When a physical desire arises, the left side of your heart is aroused to pursue it. This is the voice of the inclination toward selfishness. Bring that passion into the right side of your heart, where your intellect responds with the voice of inclination towards selflessness. Most often the two inclinations are in conflict, so lift the matter to God, who will strengthen the goodness of the right. As our sages teach, without God's help, the evil inclination could not be overcome. Since everyone has both good and evil inclinations, there's no sense in being judged by them, but only by how you handle them. The in-betweener lifts the competition to God. This is what is meant by the teaching, I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life that you may live. If the word therefore is a command from God telling us which to choose, then there is in fact no choice at all. Choose life should not be read as a command, but rather as a consequence. Toira and Tanya are saying that if you clearly see that the right side speaks for life and the left side speaks for death, you will naturally choose life. The real choice is not between life and death, but between seeing and not seeing.
Damn it, I wasted that opportunity. 14 represents white supremacy and 18's Adolf Hitler. Shit, fuck. We should have done 1 through 100, and we could have said 88. Just Adolf Hitler.
My booty cheeks were just clapping for you, John.
Thank you. You have an amazing way, Rich, to say things that make publishing videos on YouTube impossible. And so just to let you know that when you do that self-reflection and you realize all the stained shit coming out of your mouth, one day you will wake up and know your breath smells like a fart.
It's not associated with all the
For real, what has happened to Rich? Like, literally, like, are bugs eating his fucking brain? What's happening?
Was that guy? The guy that was Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he changed his name.
If you've deleted all my YouTube videos, John Kitover, I recommend you do the same. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, once you
You think I would delete 25,000 videos, 5 years of recording Clubhouse because it's your opinion that you don't like my artwork? You're a critic. I'm a creator, a film producer, a director, an actor, a veteran, politician.
John, why didn't you like the picture of when we met?
What? I'll check your back channel. I will.
John, what's the sum total of people who have viewed all of the videos from all the years?
30 million people.
500. Danny, so you met John Kitover?
Yes, we met on Google Gemini.
Yep, she likes to create AI-generated images. Danny, I thought it was funny, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. I thought it was brilliant. Thank you for doing that. I thought it was
I
hilarious.
think it's so brilliant. I should write vote for John on it.
Can you explain that to me? What I'm so confused. First of all, what is Google Gemini? What is that?
It's an app.
It's an AI.
Is it like
It's a very chillax app. You can just make pictures on it. And I think it's run by...
Do you see how Jacob's making out with me in my car? We met on Google Gemini too. So, I don't know.
That's an AI image generator? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and Jacob made it. He took a picture I
So
took
you
in my car.
met and like did you have a conversation or did you just I don't explain.
I mean, it's just a one-party meeting.
One party moon?
Yeah, you put 2 pictures in there, and then it gives you an image at the end. And literally, this is the best picture I can make in there. Whenever I try to make these with other people, this was the best one. Like, first was the best. Everything else was not good.
18th of 2023, the John Kerry family private jet was sold shortly after.
Oh, Danny, so that's the picture of the two of you? And who else was just talking that had a picture? Because I'm driving.
Yeah, so just give her a little second, and she's gonna get them.
Man, Madam Good Money, cause that's the point that I was making. Fuck that. It's no way that no nigga ever nowhere, depending on what they eat, cause niggas say stupid shit like, well, yeah, you know, people who live further away from the equator, they dark. How the fuck you know you can't see the equator? Who can look up in the sky and be like, you know what, I'm gonna move the city to get away from the equator because it's hot down there. Who the fuck can prove that? Yeah, you know, people that live close to the equator are darker than people that live. Man, there's niggas that live further northern that ain't been never born near the equator and darker than niggas that was born near the equator.
That's right.
So don't even make sense. How niggas say stupid shit like that, and they act like the equator only exists in Africa. Like the equator don't go all around the southern regions of every fucking continent. This shit is crazy. Only time niggas mention the equator when they talk about Africa, like the equator is not in the southern part of South America.
Hey guys, I just found something cool that helps me earn a bit of extra cash and declutter my space. Watch this. So this app is Carrot, where you can...
Any group of scientists should demean themselves by even inquiring whether such evidences had been presented could possibly be true, because it could not be true. And as late as 1926, we get Professor Troland of Harvard saying that the modern psychologist tends to regard alleged psychical phenomena as the modern physicist regards perpetual motion machines. And at about the same time, we have Professor Joseph Jastrow saying, obviously, this is curious, obviously, if the alleged facts of psychical research were genuine and real, the labors of scientists would be futile and blind. It's very difficult to see why they should be futile and blind. I mean, all that this seems to prove is that the theory of the world on which the scientists were basing their efforts required modification. I mean, it doesn't mean to say in the least that their labors were futile. And yet we find at the present time certain extremely eminent psychologists, such as Dr. Hebb of McGill, speaking in exactly the same way. Hebb has a very interesting comment on the work of Rhine, for example. He says, personally, I do not accept ESP for a moment, because it does not make sense. Rhine may still turn out to be right, improbable as I think that is, and my own rejection of his views is, in a literal sense, prejudice. This reminds me of an anecdote of my grandfather, Thomas Henry Huxley, where he said of Herbert Spencer that philosopher's conception of a tragedy was a deduction foully murdered by effect. And here again, we have this strange phenomenon of the existence apparently of facts, which, because they do not fit into a certain type of philosophical system, are either denied or else blandly ignored. And we have to remember that this is a very deeply rooted human tendency, and it is a deplorable tendency, but it seems to be very deeply rooted, and we must take it into account. Now, we have to consider the problem now of survival. If ESP is a fact, and I think it is a fact, then there would seem to be some prima facie reason to suppose that survival is a possibility. If, for example, it is possible to establish some kind of communication between people without the intervention of bodily signs and without the intervention of the sense organs, then on the face of it, it is possible to imagine that some kind of survival after the death of the body may be possible. On the other hand, once we grant the existence of ESP, or psi phenomena. The problem of validating what appear to be the evidences for survival becomes immeasurably greater.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
What the
every case, I don't think every case, but certainly a great majority of the cases, which on the face of them appear to be medical cases of spirit communication.
The polluting tides of sense roll shoreward, arid plains of wave-swept sea confront me, nay, blooms yet the glory through the grey, and in the darkest hours of youth, I yet perceive the essential truth. Know as I know my consciousness, that all divisions hosts confess. A master, for I know and see the absolute identity of the beholder and the vision. Means and thinks not. The polluting tides of sense roll shoreward, arid plains of wave-swept sea confront me, nay, blooms yet the glory through the grey, and in the darkest hours of youth, I yet perceive the essential truth. Know as I know my consciousness, that all divisions hosts confess. A master, for I know and see the absolute identity of the beholder and the vision. Means and think that this that I see a cat is not only an unwarranted assumption but a lie. That the duality of Spencer said, own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised. You, dear friends, must build each other up in your most holy faith. Pray in the power of the Holy Spirit. Own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised. You, dear friends, must build each other up in your most holy faith. Pray in the power of the Holy Spirit. Own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. In him shall have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs, it always protects, always trusts, always always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Okay, that's part's hurt you. Rejoice because your names are written in heaven. How much more will the Heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to those who ask Him? Freely you have received, freely give. Ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. Okay, that's part 2 of candidate Congressman John Kitover reading Bible. Whoever believes has eternal life. You can pray for anything. And if you believe that you've received it, it will be yours. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. You will be blessed. Okay, that's candidate Congressman John Kitover.
They're not benefiting any of the people.
It's hurt you. Rejoice because your names are written in heaven. How much more will the Heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to those who ask Him? Freely you have received, freely give. Ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. Okay, that's part 2 of candidate Congressman John Kitover reading Bible flashcards. It's hurt you. Who's in Him shall have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy.
Look like skeleton of human beings. They were like.
And this motherfucker is calling it fake.
No, it's not fake. We know who those people are. We each
Anyone with eyes understands that it's not fake.
No, he does not. When his eyes see the crimes that he is supporting, he's unable to accept it. This is why he will justify it by making up shit about rapes, and by those rapes, he will basically justify the slaughtering of innocent people while actually crying about killing innocent people. This is the warped mind of, I don't know if you're an Islamist, I don't know if you're just an ignorant person, or you just hate Jews. But nothing that you say is factual. Nothing that you say is true, and not only this, when you are presented with facts that even Hamas released the fucking video, not Zionist Jewish media as you claim. Hamas on their channels, being proud of it, because those are the sick motherfuckers that you guys support. Inhumane, barbaric, terrorist ideology that wants to genocide Jews and is exploiting useful idiots like you to come on like stages and echo their propaganda. So shut up, don't project your rape enthusiastic, and
Are you done? Are you
and
done?
no, I have a few more minutes. You can
Go ahead. Go.
I have a few more minutes.
Speak.
I have nothing. Listen, I have nothing to hear from you. Okay, and I don't want to hear anything from you because you don't want to hear.
If you don't want to hear.
Zero.
Please,
Talking. Let Daniel finish.
Not only do you not
The Demi
know
Zero.
anything, is that you don't want to learn anything. This is why you will stay here from you.
Are you done?
Agreed.
Are you done?
Zero, you need to learn your place, bro. You're a Demi in this.
Are you done? Are you done? Are you people done?
Okay, now I give you permission. Hold on, I give you permission. Zero, I give you permission to speak. Speak.
I don't want to talk shit about your people.
No, but like that was so insensitive. Your remark about that guy who was clearly looking like a skeleton, and they were making him dig his own grave, and you called it a propaganda video. You called it fake. Like how insensitive can you be?
Hello, La Bobo. Please put me in the queue. I want to talk about the terrorism problem in Gaza and the tunnels and what they're doing with Chinese-made weapons.
Okay, talk about it.
Thank you, La Bobo. I have been looking at Indian media and news, and I have also noticed that the Gazans who are still part of a mass terrorist organization are currently in the tunnels trying to assemble rockets as well as rifles. And all I can tell you is that the terrorism there is still very bad, and that the IDF is fighting very vigorously to attack the terrorists in the Gaza Strip. And very soon the IDF will take Gaza City. They've already taken down the internet and brought down the people's cell phone capabilities, but they're still putting videos on Instagram, and I don't know how they're doing it. But all I want to say is that very soon Hamas must surrender, or they will all get blown up when the IDF comes to kick their ass. I am complete. Thank you, La Bubu.
You are so smart, John.
Johnny boy.
Thank you very little, La Bubu. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very little.
About John Slay's pussy. What are you talking about?
They call me a carpet bagger.
It's a chick maggot.
Wow.
Have you not seen him do yoga this summer?
Bald head? Is he really a chick?
I mean, you're Indian. You would love that. He's doing yoga.
Excuse me? What would I love?
You would love
How do you know what I love?
It's your people's spirituality.
Okay, and I don't want to hear anything from you.
You guys are ignorant. Yeah. You're idiots.
John, do you like yoga?
Yes, I do yoga in the sun. I take deep breath of the day. I hold my breath for 10 seconds and I focus on my Kundalini energy in my chakras up onto my pineal gland, and I do a hymen flex, also known as a Kegel, a prostate flex. I use my groin to pump up my pineal gland and create more of the DMT with the sun when I do the yoga. We are all going to come.
Shadow banning.
I got a shadow ban so nobody can see it.
Oh, okay. How do you do it?
I shadow ban a lot of rooms.
Are you stupid?
No, you mass report a bunch of rooms with a bunch of different accounts.
You mass reported?
Yeah, when you mass report with a bunch of different accounts, it shadow bans a room. You put that they're espousing hate speech or hate rhetoric.
So this room has been mass reported?
Yeah, of course.
Nothing that you say is factual. Nothing that you say is true. And not only this, when you are presented with facts that even Hamas...
Why'd you do that? Come on. The room's already been shadow banned, Lapalu. So nobody can come here. Nobody's going to see it in the feed. So you have to take what you got. This is all you got.
Is my account also going to be reported?
Clipped? No. I didn't go after your account, just the room.
Okay. So, is that all?
It done.
I've multiplied by the grams, and I would be extremely shocked if the diamond had much value. right now labs have fucked up naturals, the ones that are like low colors. Like, yes, naturals cost a lot of money, but people don't want a bad color, a bad clarity, because the lab diamonds are just shitting on everyone. So the naturals now, all the sales are like VS1, VS2, SI1 at worst. Whereas before, you can sell an I1 ring on like an M color, but those days, the lab diamonds just changed the industry way too much now. Yeah, best bet, Dave, just probably put on, because raw gold, like, fuck, it sucks, right? You're just gonna get the gold price. 18 carats heavy, so he's probably got, what, 5 grams there? No, let's go 7.
Would there be no value?
Actually, $1,000 bucks. Yes. If there's a collector, yes, 100%. Do I know anything about that business? Zero.
Valuable real estate is churches. So why aren't we using churches? And why isn't churches taking a more outsized role and taking advantage of being an incubator for community involvement and community economics than it has been? That's really the question. Churches in the past, hold on, I'm not done. You guys are interrupting me. Hold on. You guys are interrupting me. Churches in the past have been, historically, the black church has been the incubator for education in our communities. We used to turn to the black church for education when we couldn't get reading, writing, and arithmetic from white institutions. We turned to the black church. That was where our bourgeoisie, that was where our educational attainment came from. Now, after we've gotten the Department of Education and the Teachers Union, now we turned all of our dependency for educating our kids over to the government and over to the state. The church is the institution that should be the foremost institution in driving educational achievement for our kids. But it's not. We've turned it over to the states, and now the state is failing our kids.
Okay, so I want to just make a couple of observations first. When we talk about the black church, I think we need to be clear on what we're talking about. I think the conversation about the black church was not restricted to Sunday services, black church. It was talking about the black church as an institution. And the black church as an institution continues in its political engagement. It continues in providing educational and economic resources to its local communities. Different churches can do it on different scales because of where they're located, because of the financial status of their membership, because of the political status of their membership, who are members. But black churches continue to do that community labor. When people need money to pay utilities, they know they can go to the black church. When they need food, the black church provides that. There's feeding programs for members and non-members alike. The black church is still the primary place where black people get political education. Where do you go to vote? How do you vote? There are programs that these
nothing that you say is factual.
Now, it is one thing to say that you are unaware of how these things are working. That's one thing. Because as with much that happens in black political life, because of what our political history has been, we are a little bit insular and careful around how we promote what it is that we do. A lot of it is word of mouth. So sometimes in some of these communities, if you don't know, it's very difficult to know. That is a problem. I concede that. But it's another thing to say that the black church is failing and that the black church is not contributing to sustaining healthy and productive communities, because that's just not true. You can go to the smallest hick town. I mean, you can go to the smallest hick town where there's a black church, and that black church is working for those people. Exactly. Black churches support colleges. They support tutorial programs. They support KinderCare. Black churches are education from K through graduation. college graduation. So it's not fair to say that you can say that you're unaware or that you don't see it, right? But it's not fair to say that it's not happening.
So I think there's being a misrepresentation of what's been said. It is not that the black church doesn't help its community. It's that it's having a decreasing effect. It's that it's having a diminishing return. Hold on. I'm responding real quick. I would like to respond right quick. No, because what you responded to was not what I said. Allow me to respond.
And I
appreciate that.
wasn't responding to you. I was responding to the entire conversation. So
well, I just like to inform the conversation if I could.
Because you're being redundant.
No, I'm not being redundant. I'm not being redundant. Just because you say I'm being redundant and you disagree with me.
I don't disagree. Why do I always think when somebody makes a comment that it's disagreement? I don't disagree.
Return.
Let me finish.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Let me
Thank
finish.
you. No. Wait. What you mean? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Wait. I was speaking.
I'm offering a different perspective.
DC, just be cool, bro. Like,
but I was speaking. I was the one that was.
Okay, but why are you being such a child? Just let this man talk.
Hey, can you allow me to go before you?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cedric.
So what we've seen, guys, is that with the introduction of the profit motive, it has actually infected our institutions as well. And what does it look like when you have a church that is a bastion of having done stuff for the community, a staple in our community, and then when you see that you have a $35 million project that is to be done, design project, and it's in the 2000s. Years wise, and we know we live in a city that is 30% black folks and has architects and engineers and so forth. When you have a $35 million project and you don't use black architects or engineers or design teams and so forth for that institution, there is a problem with that. These are jobs that allow smaller companies to become bigger companies. Small architectural firms become bigger architectural firms. That's how white architectural firms do it as well. They didn't all start out with 1,000 employees. They didn't all start out with 500 employees. They started out with 2 guys, 2 women, whatever the case may be, and then they built up, and now they get all these different projects that we don't get at institutions that we are the primary stakeholders of. There is a problem when you have a $50 million edifice, multi-purpose center, sanctuary, and you look down at the contractors, so I had to do the analysis of this, and you see that there aren't any black people doing that. They're from Texas State. They're from Texas A&M. They're from all these institutions around Houston, around Texas, that can fund football programs and after-school programs for kids, for their white kids, fund trips at their churches for their children to go to D.C. with a fully funded thing. These are things that we are not able to do because we don't give those opportunities to us. That is one way we can look at these institutions other than just the programs they provide. They are financial juggernauts that have a huge financial impact. Unfortunately for us, we're not getting that in the areas that we most need it. It is a pride for me when I used to go build houses that I could drive by a house and take my mom by there and say, Mom, I built that. Or Dad, I built that. Or my friends, brothers and sisters, we can go to a neighborhood and say, over there in Northeast Houston, yeah, we built those homes right there. There's an amount of pride that you can't put a number on when you know you have done it, and we don't have that in our black churches. Even someone was talking, I'll end it here. Even someone was talking about Atlanta. I'm not saying the churches aren't involved in the community and so forth. I can't say that. But I do know that New Birth, one of the staple churches when I was a resident at Grady Hospital down there, I used to go to the church there. And I did an analysis, and it was a $50 million church in 2001. And Sizemore and another engineering firm were the ones who were the primary contractors on that church in Atlanta. It doesn't make sense. We have to start doing Maynard Jackson ways in which even the church or black institutions have to do it. We say, hey, look, we have to allow us and make us a priority in getting those contracts. It is the same thing. These are things that build up communities. Instead of a church, I'll give you one example. A young lady who is an activist in our community, has done a lot of arts work in our community, had a program teaching kids that now are doing wonderful things, 30 years in the making. She went to one of our main churches asking for $5,000 for her program that helped teach kids in the summer doing art classes and creative projects and so forth. Been doing it for years. We're talking about $5,000. She went there and had 3 meetings with them, and after a while they said, no, we're not going to do it. She had to pay an individual to get the money to keep it going. These are the things where, yes, our church is doing certain things, but there is room for critique where we can say, hey, look, these dollars need to be going to black folks. These design efforts, these projects, the catering needs to go to black firms. It's a business institute. And that's where we're lacking and falling apart. And no one is criticizing that. We just sit back and say, not my pastor. Don't criticize him or her. We don't. And when you look at the numbers, we're not getting the money. And that is the key. And I'll end it there.
So I'm going to respond.
That was great.
Firstly, was she a member of that church? Rick?
That's called gatekeeping. That's the problem with the black church. It should not matter whether or not she was a member or not.
Listen, I just want to know for my clarity.
We gatekeep. Why is the pastor?
TC, stop interrupting.
No. I was next.
You were not next.
I was next, nigga. I was next. They told me to let Sid go.
Okay, one second.
You didn't hear me talking and then culturally said let Sid go and then TC can go.
Yes. Praise the Lord. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Am I on mute? What's going on? So, BT, I'm not sure if you remember, but right in the middle of TC speaking, some kind of way, Sid got the mic, and they forced him to give the mic to Sid. Can we please
we're not letting him land. I'm responding to Rick. No.
What the hell are you? This is her room.
That don't work for me. Can I get in the middle? That don't work for me.
This man done went 40 times.
What's going on?
That don't work for me, BT.
I knew it wouldn't.
Okay.
Because your beat
mute up. This is her room. It was on me. It was on. I was talking.
BT with the mic.
Good. You interrupted him while he was in the middle of talking.
He was in the middle of talking 17 times, 34 minutes.
Doesn't matter. That's her room. It's her rules. If I was talking, I let Sid go. It's on me.
I didn't know.
Okay. No, she's giving you privilege.
No, she's giving you the floor. Shut the fuck up.
No, y'all not gonna argue like this. Be nice. Now,
I don't want to argue.
Okay.
Good, then mute up.
TC, you're not helping the situation.
Be allowed to continue though to interrupt everybody and claim a turn.
I was interrupted.
He did not interrupt anyone.
He was. He did.
Hey, I'm enjoying all this.
Definitely been interrupting everybody.
Hello? I'm enjoying all this beige rage.
Guess what?
And it's work to get him the mic every time. So go ahead.
All this beige rage going on.
Thank you. Y'all all need to get recorders and pay attention to your own actions.
Yeah,
go ahead, TC.
You're right.
Thank you. I recall I was speaking. You guys said let Sid go.
DC, just say what you gotta say. You can roll your eyes all you want to.
Beige rage, nigga.
All right. Thank you very much. So Sid actually hit on some really good points. The important point here is that the churches gatekeep who they get to decide who wins and who loses. That's the problem with the black church. They feel entitled to give people license to do stuff in their community as if we needed to check in with them before we wanted to do anything. The problem with the black church is it's no longer an institution. Somebody referred to it as institution. I even called it institution at one point. It's no longer an institution. It's an impediment. The black church has become an impediment to black progress because Sid mentioned the profit incentive, but I believe it's the political exploitation of the black church that's rendered it ineffective in being an institution. I gave you guys examples a minute ago of how the black church has used to create wealth, used to create outsized outcomes and beneficial outcomes for our community. Now it's giving us diminishing returns. People are leaving the black church. You can look these numbers up. You don't have to take my word for it. Black churches are closing down, yet and still they still occupy a majority of the commercial real estate that exists in the black community, and we're not monetizing it. The reason why we're not monetizing it is because these black churches with 20 and 30 members, when they can accommodate 300 members, are gatekeeping access to their institutions because people are asking, are you a tithe-paying member at the church? Are you paying your tithes? Are you a member at the church? Oh, you're not a
15
member?
seconds.
Therefore, hold on. Therefore, we have to go to the white institution that's also not a member because we think that we'll be better postured and positioned to benefit from the democratic political apparatus because that's the democratic choice for who they want to use for their building projects. It's bullshit.
Time. BT, one mic on you, brother. Did BT leave?
Of course.
No,
He's still on the stage. He's right there.
Butt tickler, you there?
What?
I thought that's what
we done heard that bullshit for 30 minutes.
What did you just say, BT?
Thought his name stood for butt tickler.
Stop
He said he's in the store and can't speak. Can I go?
Okay, go ahead, Johnny. So one mic on you.
Okay, I'm going to keep this quick. It's unfortunate that people make the generalizations of what the black church is doing and its impact in the community, but I'm glad Dr. A.G. pretty much addressed it and said it how I would say it. It's just that a lot of people have not experienced the impact and the positive outcomes of the black church, or they may be in an isolated area where it's not obvious, but when it is touted and promoted, or they get blowback because now they're being performative or it's not real. So you just can't win. But as far as DC saying the gatekeeping comment, I put in the chat. I mean, pick a struggle because I thought gatekeeping was the goal, but now gatekeeping is not. And then
not when you're gatekeeping out your own people.
All right, I'm not done, guys.
DC, be quiet.
And so, and to Sed knows I love him, but I get in rooms and he says this often about the black church and who they pick to develop their church. But I feel like that's like half of the story because lots of times, depending on how much the construction project costs and who they're getting the financing from, there's a set list of who they have to use in order to get approved and to get that funding unlocked. And I feel like when we have these conversations on Clubhouse, if he only says his side and there's not some of the background that goes into these discussions, then it's not painting the full picture. I know I have biases because I have worked with a lot of the mega churches in Atlanta. I have worked at a lot of mega churches in different areas from my background. And so I can tell you some of the outcomes, like they give scholarships, they build senior housing, they build affordable housing, they fund health clinics, they create financial literacy debt programs to get people off of debt. They send people to schools. They have they were some of the biggest institutions to help the water crisis in Mississippi. They were some of the first to react with the Katrina devastation. Like they do a lot, so it's just disheartening that a lot of people say that they don't have an impact on the black community as a whole in our land.
Well, they don't know any better. It's a lie.
Just to defend.
So, a few things here. For one, y'all have to stop making the black church the end all be all. That's not what we think. Like y'all gotta stop it. You're putting the onus on this thing as if they can do everything. So say, Rick, I didn't go to New Birth, but I'm community New Birth Church was built in. That church literally created a club, a sober club for all the teens to go to as an alternative to be in the streets in the hood during my literal upbringing. So when you coming for New Birth because they didn't build a black architect, it's just weird to me. That church did a lot. And that's even with a nasty pastor. Now, that's another thing. Y'all are trying to take these mega churches who be messing up and doing some crazy things and putting it on all churches. And that's a slap in the face to the black church agree with or that are wrong. And I think y'all can't do both, which is hold somebody accountable but still see the good. Y'all are one way out. It's 100% this way or 100% that way. And that's just not feasible or logical way to look at anything. And I think that's my issue is y'all can't be like, yeah, okay, black church is cool, but it's some things we need to work on. And even Kimberly said when you said the building thing, okay, we found one thing. But y'all, then you don't talk about all of the good, and I won't go over the laundry list that Dr. A.G. went over that my church literally does. She ain't been to my church. Everything Dr. A.G. names, my church does. From the community impact to the helping the homeless and feeding the food and clothing ministry. Don't get me started on what they do for the hood. And let alone the tuitions, paying scholarships, etc. And I did ask about if that lady was a member who asked for that $5,000. Because you're not finna just come to my church and say, give me $5,000 for a business if you don't go there. But if you come for me to pay your rent for a month, we will do that. So don't try to say a church is supposed to give out money because you got a good business idea or a good nonprofit idea and you don't even go to that church. That's just weird. But I guarantee you, if you really like, hey, I'm finna lose my house, I got 2 kids, can y'all pay my rent? That will do it. So y'all gotta stop with the weird stuff.
Hey, I got a question.
The judgment, you can ask the question when I'm done, brother. I've waited very long. You saw Lady let TC go ahead of me, even though he said the exact same thing. So no. Now, again, please write it down, though. I do want to hear it. But in summation, I believe that we have to take into account that the black church is not perfect, but that most of them are trying. And also, the black church had something for us and gave us more community than we ever had. Young people were leaving the black church in record numbers, which is why we see some of the things that TC said and talked about with the decline in the home ownership. That's because people did lose their way. A lot of us are going back because we see, hey, maybe all this stuff my grandma and mama made me listen to, I need this. Maybe this is what saved me and got me this far. Because what we're doing now with all of y'all people in this room who are anti-black church, who have left it and don't know what you're talking about, being opinionated, that's not helping. Y'all are just talking smack. But that black church helped me and 1,000 other people that I can name become who we are. And it still is reinstilling things that the community needs to do better. I'll end.
Okay, my question is, if I go to Chase Bank, right, and I ask for a loan, Bank of America, such and such, etc., do I have to be a member of that bank to get a loan from that bank?
Is the bank a church?
A church is not a bank.
No, I'm just asking.
Right, like that's crazy.
I'm not even answering.
Your question is not relevant. It creates.
My question is relevant.
There were others areas that were less affected than others.
My ancestors are from Zimbabwe, so like my parents are Canadian though, but they're from Zimbabwe, and then my mom's half Zimbabwean, half like I guess my maternal grandmother's South African, Xhosa, not even Zulu. Oh, I guess you wouldn't know because tribalism. That's like the main reason of slavery, if you think about it, because of tribalism, right?
No, I don't agree with that. I think tribalism is like more of like a what do we call that? Premortalism concept, where this is just like how it's always been. As humans, we are just innately, like that's our nature. You stick with your family. You stick within your community.
Basically,
tribalism. What do you mean? How's that not tribalism?
I also don't agree with that. In my humble opinion, should I wait? I'll wait.
No, you're fine.
Sorry.
We really don't have to or anything like that.
Yeah, I think she meant to say it's like pre-civilization, like before the first societies. Sorry to interrupt abruptly.
That's fine. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, well, I actually didn't know that other countries.
Okay, great. I also don't agree with what was said. In my humble opinion, and I stress opinion, the reason for continued slavery throughout the centuries or whatever was making money. If no money was to be made, slavery would have ended. And by the way, yes, I'm aware that there were no blacks that had chattel slavery in the United States. But in history, Greece, Rome, Egypt, China, yes, Africa, Muslim, Barbary Coast, Zanzibar, tons of other places, slavery was almost a normal type of situation. Over 500, 1,000 years ago.
Well, I'm just telling you, I didn't know that, so.
Oh, and thank you for being honest, and I appreciate anytime someone says I don't know, and I appreciate that.
No, because I'm Canadian, so like Canada focus like immigration, blah blah blah. So I don't really have like the same Black American history. I'm just saying from my understanding, when I see like what they talk about and they're protesting, that's like one of their main points. That's all. That's why I brought it up. To be honest.
Well, I think Canada has a history of slavery too.
Yes, they do.
Thank you.
It wasn't as intense.
Right. My understanding, and I could be wrong, both the French and the British had slavery in Canada.
They were particularly brutal. Those two empires.
Which was prior to the 1800s. It ended in the 1800s, but there was a whole bunch of slavery in Canada before the 1800s.
I mean, Canada's like kind of weird. I'm in Ontario, which is like the only place for diversity and multiculturalism. But like, I'm like right by Quebec. That's why I can know like je parle français, I know a little bit of français, right? Like a little bit of French. It's kind of weird because you have like Ontario that's like kind of like multicultural, so they're kind of like centralist, kind of, and then you have like Quebec, they're like completely nationalist in the French side, and they just hate France.
Are they still trying to secede?
Like separate? They have their own political party.
Yeah.
They literally have their own political party. It's like they literally are like nationalists of Canada. And then you have like Alberta, is what you would call the Maple Mega, because they're just annoying. And then the rest of the provinces, they just don't care.
Why are they so annoying? What's so annoying?
The Maple Mega in Alberta?
Maple MAGA. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, and I noticed twice she said Maple MAGA and did not say the Maple Leaf, which, I'm in I'm in the United States, and we refer to Canada. We know the Maple Leaf. It's interesting she didn't say.
Yeah, because that's a hockey team. Okay.
Yeah, Maple MAGA literally didn't register in my brain until she said it like the third.
Yeah, well, it's Alberta is like, okay, to explain it better, like Alberta is like America's Texas, to be honest with you. That's how I can explain it.
Dottie, I heard you had a question about DEI earlier and like the concept of why it was created. Did they explain?
Oh no, someone already explained it to me, so it's okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was gonna explain it to you if you still didn't understand. No.
Also, I'm not against it. I was just like I'm not against it. I was just saying what the other side was saying, and the other guy like explained it.
Got it.
But like one question I will have with the whole like DI, when you look at employment laws, when they're like, oh, you shouldn't discriminate. I don't DI is like an enforcement of that, like enforcing it because it was happening. So I don't know, it's just kind of confusing, Like, why eliminate it, Because like they eliminated it, and then it just goes into nepotism, so it just makes no sense.
I was gonna say we're veering very sharply into Steve's territory here. I don't know, Steve, you got anything you want to say?
Well, I'll give a very short, shameless plug, but I do have a question for our neighbor to the north. Of course, I've been doing the Ask the Atheist with Reverend Scott and the Mod Squad every Sunday. That's on tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. PST. But I did want to ask our friendly neighbor to the north, about 40 years ago, they revised their United States, the Constitution. This is their preamble. where they added to it in the very first paragraph, right off the bat, quote, Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God. I wanted to know if she had any thoughts about her preamble that was redone 40 years ago to include God. Any thoughts?
Are you Canadian?
No, dear. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California, in the United States of America.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know they did that. And this is coming from someone that's doing a bachelor's in law, and like I know the Constitution and that. For some reason, they never taught any of that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Firstly, it's my pleasure to educate you. Thank you very much. And number two, I only brought that up since the title of the room is The Claim God Communicates with Humans. It seemed appropriate to indicate that 40 years ago, you Canadians changed your preamble to include the supremacy of God.
Well, that's kind of odd, considering that we base our whole country off of multiculturalism. That's odd.
Wasn't Canada recently where there were some actual legal issues that came up about this? Wasn't that?
No, fuck our government in Canada. No, fuck our government. Because literally, our government got in trouble, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It was called the SNC Lavalin case. Where they're getting, and by the way, prostitution is illegal. Well, kind of. It's illegal for the guy to pay money, but the girl doesn't get in trouble, basically. Well, anyways, our government officials would bring people from Arab, Saudi Arabia, and stuff like that, and bring in high-end prostitutes to bribe them. Yes, that happened.
I kind of have a feeling the supremacy of God thing has a Roman Catholic influence, being that
Well, they just wanted to tax the Catholic Church.
Oh, excuse me, Dottie. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I thought you said you knew nothing about that.
I knew nothing about what you were stating about that statement from 40 years ago. I didn't know that. But
it's not a statement. It's in your preamble, which is our Constitution.
No, I think that you said the statement that I didn't know that was a saying.
I'm gonna stand.
So I know. I mean, even in the United States, we have on how our society was structured. We have a huge Roman influence, whether people believe it or not. It is in our history books. If you find really old history books, you will find that. But I can't help but think the same thing for Canada, especially with, I'm going to go there. There's some, human rights abuses when it comes to the Roman Catholic Church about 40 years ago in Canada and the United States.
But don't you think it's weird, all of a sudden, the Canada wants to tax the church? Doesn't that go against everything if you think about it? Like the whole separating of the church from the government. So why are you taxing the church?
Well, that's the United States. That's not Canada. That's the United States.
No, they announced it literally 5 days ago.
Separation of church and state is most.
No, they separated, but they want to tax the churches now.
That's different. Those are two different issues, though. Separation of church and state is about the state not mandating what the official religion of the state is. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with whether churches should be taxed or not.
Well, do you think churches should be taxed? Because I don't really think so.
Yes.
I don't know, but it's they should be.
They can write off charitable work just like anybody else thing, but I taxed, it would go a long way to alleviating some
other. But don't you think it's an attack on religion if they tax the church? It's attacking them, kind of.
No, not really. Okay. No, if they're raking in money like a business, I had no problem with them.
Yeah, but all their money goes to food banks.
No, it doesn't. Don't be tricked. Don't be fooled. No, it does not. There are some. No, I'm not. That's not to say that there are not some churches that do spend a majority of their budget on those kind of things. But again, if that's the case and they were taxed, there would be mechanisms to account or charitable.
Well, wouldn't it be better for them to be? Wouldn't it be better for them to be severely audited than to do that then?
Well, I mean, why would you audit them if the only purpose of an audit is to find out if they're compliant with taxes? So, I mean, they would go hand in hand.
But like, why? Like, if they're like donating more than, I know that like money laundering can go through this because of this loose like threshold of not taxing them. But like, isn't there like a better way to go about it than to tax them?
Not that I can think of. Well. No, not that I can think of. I mean, unless you have like instead of, I mean, I guess there's many different methods by which you could tax the churches. Sure, from like a simple flat kind of, just a church pays a 10% tax to the government or something like that. But most likely, if they're going to tax the churches, it's going to be based on the gross income of the church itself. So, and I think, I think that. We're missing out on billions of revenue from church income, taxing churches.
Considering like how many churches are across the country, you're not wrong about that. So, but like, churches are supposed to be community based, right? So,
well, yeah, and I think one of the main justifications, especially in recent years, that we've had for taxing the churches being completely justified, especially with the recent political climate that we've been in, is churches are supposed to not get involved in the promotion of political candidates, political doctrines, all that kind of stuff. And that's just not been the case in the last, I don't know how many years. It's been going on for a long time.
Well, because I went to a Catholic school and a public school at one point because I fucking hated my Catholic school. Sorry, I swear. But then I noticed the difference. Because they make you pay in Canada, they make you pay, I think it's like $200 just to be in the school per year. And public school obviously doesn't do that. And then you have to pay for the uniform. But I feel like the quality of education is better. And Catholic school teachers get paid better because the Catholic Church is upholding itself. And that's why the quality of education is better.
By the way, I went on the internet very quickly. Take it for what it's worth. According to the internet, there are 350 to 400,000. Let me repeat that: 350 to 400,000 different congregations around the country in the United States, according to the internet.
That is an enormous source of revenue. Holy.
Daddy's jet is getting close to 25 years old. He needs a new jet.
I have a question. What's the difference between? Cause I feel like when you go to a Catholic school, it's cheaper compared to a private school. So if you tax them,
generally speaking, if you're Catholic, you're going to be tied into the whole money infrastructure, the monetary infrastructure of the Roman Catholic Church, whereas. Private schools, if they're not Catholic, if they're Protestant oriented, they're going to have much lower amounts of access. Generally speaking, there's not a worldwide, far-reaching organization to cover Protestant churches. The Protestant churches are much more fragmented organizationally than the Catholic Church.
Really?
Yeah, there's
what about the sense that
divisions of the Protestant church
when you pay to go to? What about the sense like when you pay to go to a Catholic church and you look at teachers when they're applying for their jobs? Like, do you know if you want to be a teacher at a Catholic school, you have to have proof that you're Catholic, and they get paid better. So what about that?
That's not true.
Wait, sorry.
No, I know
this. I just want to add one more point. And because of that, and the reason why they're getting paid better is because they get funding from their fellowship, right? So that's why the quality of education is better compared to public schools. Yeah.
May I respond to that now? Would that be okay? Thank you. I know for 100% fact that the Catholic private schools regularly hire non-Catholic teachers and professors because they have knowledge in their field of expertise. And my brother, and of course I'm Jewish, my brother is Jewish, he was a teacher professor at a Catholic private school for over 5 to 10 years. I just wanted to point out that fact.
Well, that doesn't change the fact that they get funded better and paid better.
All I said is that Catholic private schools do hire non-Catholic professors and teachers. That's all.
I'd be surprised if there was I don't know this. I'd be surprised if there was a wage gap in a Catholic school between a non-Catholic and a Catholic. I think that'd be
There is a wage gap.
I would need to look into that because I think that would have been protested a lot. There would have been a big.
No, there is a wage gap. The reason why people can't protest it is because Catholic schools are like they're privately funded, so the teachers get paid more compared to public schools.
Yeah,
So
but with the teaching field and finding good teachers being as competitive and scarce a field as it tends to be, I just don't think that would benefit them to do anything like something like that.
Well, it happens, so I don't have to tell you.
I need to look that up. I mean,
yeah, go look it up right now. If you think online.
No. If somebody challenges or questions what you're saying, it's not them calling you a liar. That's not what's happened. That's not what's happening. It's just challenging the information, challenging the idea. That's all that's happening.
I know. And this became weird because I graduated, right? And then it's just like one of my teachers is so weird. She was like from Sudan and she was my English teacher. And she was the one that like really helped me get good marks. I'm not going to do a soft story, but it was like one of those soft stories. And she was just like a good teacher. And then I saw her on the bus. And the reason why she's on the bus because she got into a car accident. So she's like scared of driving. And then she was like, oh, I had to retire because I'm in a Catholic school teaching. And she specifically chose to teach there because of the Catholic belief. And she was like, oh, I had to quit because they wanted me to teach about transgender people. And she said she refused to.
Well, did you ever ask her if she was or was not Catholic from Sudan?
I didn't ask that, but that's not the point. So the whole point. Anyway, the whole point is that she was like, basically a prince. Like she was like, because Sudan is going for a war, so she was like one of the princesses of the royal family. You can the lady search her up. She was like in England being protected, and then came to be my teacher.
She was, just so I understood, because the connection's a little bad, this teacher who taught at a Catholic school, she was a princess of the royal family in Sudan, and then she moved out to the United States to teach in a Catholic school. Is that
she became a refugee, and she went to Europe, and then she went to Canada. Yes.
So just to make sure I understand, a princess of the royal family became a refugee. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because look at.
Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, well, I wouldn't call her princess to say, but like she was part of that regime, to be honest. And you can search her up. Okay, her name is Miss Umunu, so that's her name. So yeah, I'm not lying.
I'm not accusing you of lying, but I will say that's the first time I've ever heard of a princess of a royal family becoming a refugee. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just
look at the climate of Sudan because of the war. So I guess she took refugee in like UK, and then she came to Canada and became a teacher. She was literally on the news, and then she was like, yeah, it was like a whole thing. Yeah.
Sounds about right to me. Oh yeah, I believe.
And she has like grandchildren. She has like 4 grandchildren, and then one of her grandkids, and one of her grandchildren is like a piece of shit. It's like one of those like Sudanese dudes being a game banger. I'm like, if you knew about your grandmother who taught me, she'll be ashamed of you.
That's what I told him. Yes.
You're talking about an African princess, not a European princess, part of the European royal family, right?
She was a refugee, and then, like, I guess her other children gave birth. Her grandchild was my age, and her grandchild was smoking weed and causing troubles and stealing. So I said to him, you know, your grandmother is my teacher. How could you do this? That's what I told him. She'll be ashamed of you. That's what I said. So, yeah.
Is she part of the European royal family or the African?
No, it's Sudan because it's in war. So they're all Sudanese, okay?
All right, cool.
And I had every right to say that to him because it's a disgrace. Can you imagine, like, oh, your grandmother fought for this and that, and then you want to be a gangster and do that? Yes, of course I told him, shame on you. Okay, of course I said that.
How long? When did she immigrate to the United States? How long has she been in the United States?
I'm talking about Canada. Are you forgetting?
I'm sorry. How long has she been in Canada? My mistake. I'm sorry.
Maybe like, cause she's like old, so I'm guessing like maybe like 15 years, 10 years, something like that, or something like that.
She's been in Canada for 15 years.
I'm just talking about her grandchildren being like, so when you meet her grandchildren, they're like into like the gang culture, right? Of like shooting, being a nigga, and being like hardcore and stuff. And then it's like, I'm not done talking. I wasn't done talking. I'm talking. No, because her grandmother meant a lot to me, so I don't know why they're interrupting me.
Dottie, calm down for a second. Calm down for a second. She was just using that, relating it in the story. I don't think she was calling anybody that.
I know, but the thing is, I take it very personal when a black woman's online saying nigger.
Okay, well,
I just said I was really close to her grandmother.
You have voiced your protest. That's good. You have voiced your protest. That's good enough. Go ahead, Dottie.
So anyways, his grandmother was really close to me, and because her like sons were close to my age, and because I knew what neighborhood and what they were doing, so when I say nigga, they're being like gangbangers and like stealing, and then just doing like stupid shit. To be honest, like just stupid stuff, and then one of them talked to me. I was on the bus, so it's not like I saw him out. And I was like, oh, I know your grandmother. And then he was like, and because he's like a gangbanger, he's like smoking weed and doing all this stuff. And he's like selling weed, saying, you want to buy from me, and all this crap. And I was like to him, you know, your grandmother is a war refugee person. As a refugee, right? And when she became an English
teacher. I'm going to stop you for just a second. I feel like we've completely lost a thread that we were talking about. What were we even talking about? It feels like we've just kind of rambled off onto somewhere else.
This one that interrupted me.
Is it okay if I ask a question? Because your claim was that you knew someone that was in the royal family, right?
I never said she was in the royal family. I was talking about Sudan.
Okay, well, I don't know if I just heard that, but I'm pretty sure.
I literally can find you the news article and put it in the chat.
Can you just let me land for a second? So, okay, that clears that up because
I thought she said that too. By the way,
I was confused because if you say something,
she said princess. She said princess in royal family, and I repeated it, and she said yes, princess royal.
She repeated like 3 times, and you.
From Sudan, though. From Sudan.
We didn't know you were talking about Sudan. Okay.
That's where she's from. She's from Sudan.
Can I finish? Second, is kind of like alarming for you to associate a word, right, that is related to black people in a negative light. Like you're saying that they're.
Isn't she black herself?
Let him finish, Dottie. Jesus.
Yes.
Dude, you do not say that negative patterns or of behavior is a admonished term for black people, right? You do not get those two.
Obviously, I wouldn't say that because that's a contradiction to myself and her. I was saying.
Contradiction to yourself, so you shouldn't say shit like that.
No, I was just saying. No, because she has like some children anyway. I was just saying that I got offended when one of her grandchildren who was going around was doing all this, and I was like, do you know? And because I have an emotional connection, I have a more of an emotional connection to his grandmother.
I'm asking you not to repeat it. We heard you 5 times.
Don't repeat that word again, please.
Do not say the behavior again. Do not say what they were doing again. First of all, there's nothing wrong with selling weed if you're trying to survive.
Nothing wrong with smoking it either.
There's nothing wrong with smoking weed. Those are not negative.
I wasn't saying that.
Okay. Well, those were 2 examples that you brought up, right? You didn't really have any other examples other than them. You know.
Well, because I don't know him, so I don't know what he does.
He smokes weed and he tries to sell it, so he's a nigger. Get out of here, sister.
That's not what I'm saying, because I know a bunch of white people that sell meth and weird stuff like that too.
No, I know that. Are they too?
But there's a see, you people are like misinterpreting.
Okay, we're gonna move on from this conversation. This is not productive conversation.
My grandmother shows a whole part, and I didn't mean to offend you when I'm talking about. I'm not trying to like generalize. I'm not trying to generalize. All I'm saying that is like I was surprised when her grandson was doing like certain behaviors. And just knowing his grandmother and everything she went through.
I just said, Dottie,
hurt my heart. That's all I was saying.
Okay, that's fine. We're going to move on from this part of the conversation.
Exactly, because that's all
we're not going to dwell on it.
God does talk to man. Believe me, I know. He has conversations with me every single day, yo.
Who does?
God Almighty above us all. He's got many names throughout time and history, y'all.
Which one are you referring to?
I'm talking about the God of man, the God of made man, not modern man.
Oh, the Abrahamic God.
Yeah, he used to be that, but now he's something different. That's a fact.
Wait, he used to be that?
He used to be that.
Wait, God changed. God changes?
Oh, most definitely. He sure does.
Interesting.
That goes against what most theists say about God.
I like a God that can adapt, though. That's much cooler.
It's not changing and adapting are 2 different things, sir. That's why it's 2 different things.
Does yoga flexible? It's flexible.
Yes, he does yoga in his spare time. He never gets no sleep. He works every single day. He's a God of mine. I told him the other day that, you know what? I wanted to give you a day off. How about that? Let me take over just one day. Just one day. That's all it takes.
How do you know God? How do you know God does yoga? Did God tell you?
They're in the same class, Steve.
It's a cute puppy yoga, though. It's a cute puppy yoga where the puppies jump all over you.
It's a Yogi Bear.
That does sound like fun.
Believe it or not, what I say makes more sense than what the sister was saying before this. I understand her pain and what she's going through.
That's not wrong either.
You know, so that's okay. That's okay. But when she said the N-word, none of y'all said nothing because y'all accept that from people.
No, listen. I told you removing that thing because that's a subject. It's a subject. Something right now. I'm going to tell you something right now. For Caucasians, even though we may feel that way, if there are multiple, however you would refer to African American Black people in the room, it is a subject much better to left handled to the people it actually relates to, rather than us coming down and laying down the law for them. I'm much more comfortable.
Refer to us as God or Father. How about that?
No, I won't. I won't do that. I won't do that. No, I won't do that.
Your fathers, that's a fact.
No,
they came first, y'all came later on.
No, I'll just refer to you by your. Is that your name? Warning? Is that your name? Actual name? You want to?
I'm only giving one, sir. That's it. But you got all the power.
No, I have a very modicum, very minimalist amount.
On Clubhouse.
So,
ask the question: who came first?
I mean, well, warning.
Who came first?
So just to be clear, like I do think like it's wrong to use that word, right? Because I think like habituation does lead to like some sort of implicit acceptance of that term, right? And anything, like whether you say good things or bad things, like if you are using pejoratives for an entire group, even if you don't mean that way, I do think that you like take it in as like some sort of background accepted belief, right? That there's some sort of inferiority, and so that's why I don't think people should be using pejoratives like that for people that they're not trying to insult.
I agree.
So, I do agree with you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were.
Thank you, Mr. Caucasian man. I appreciate that.
What? Actually, I'm a black dog.
Dude, why do you do that, Warning? So, Warning, I want to avoid all this talk about humanity, labeling humanity, right? I want to support your claim that God talks to you on a daily basis. What do you mean by that?
I have a question for everybody.
Yeah, he did. He was trying to get it a second ago. Go ahead.
I have a question for everybody. When I said Caucasian, everybody came off the hanger and wanted to question what I said. But when she said nigger, nobody said
dude. We already addressed this. Conrad, go ahead with your question.
Okay.
What you looking for, a fight?
Warning, we already addressed guys, we already addressed this. Warning, we already addressed this.
It is a fucking warning. I warned you.
Okay, warning.
Go ahead.
Okay.
CC. What's your question?
No, Conrad, go ahead.
Just a warning. I just address claim that quote unquote we came before white people. I think it's kind of like an inappropriate understanding. Evolutionary biology. In fact, neither of us came first. That doesn't make any sense. Archaic humans, which are our ancestors, right, are related to both people within the African diaspora as well as people in Europe, Asia, and the Americas. There was a transitional period where the branch of Homo sapiens sapiens branched out due to scarcity of resources and population boom to different regions of the planet. And as time went on,
there was inbreeding with other hominids.
In fact, there was always constant exchange, particularly when we talk about Europe, the Mediterranean, Northern Africa, the Levant, and Central Africa. There was consistent remigration all throughout that region, right? So there was constantly intermixing between populations. So this idea that one or another came first is actually not true. And in fact, there is extremely heavy evidence that the genetic changes that reduced melanin in the skin for European hominids, this includes, Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthals, and Homo sapiens sapiens, it happened very much earlier than much later, not earlier, much later than people think. We're talking about if you go back maybe 20 generations, people still had bronze-like skin, right? Skin tones were actually darker. And I think for modern humans, not archaic humans, this adaptation happened within the last 40,000 years. It's not even that recent. So this idea that we came first, it doesn't make sense because we're too closely genetically related. We are the same species, right?
Same race, all one race.
Not only that, but there was.
How old is this?
Hold on, guys. I want to make one thing clear here too, because it's going to come up again, obviously. Okay, even within, and we'll just use this, and people will disagree with this language too. So I'm just going to use it just for simplicity. Even within the Black community, all encompassing anybody with that heritage, there's wildly differing attitudes about these racial terms. Okay, wildly different attitudes. So if an issue comes up in a room like this, and it's between those people of the same ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to let them work it out. I can say that I don't like it, but I'm not about to tell them they can or can't. I'm going to let them work it out because it's like I said, the attitudes are so wildly varied. Even within, I'll let them set their social norms for the situation.
Okay. I'm wrong.
You know what, comrade? I'm not.
Wait. I want to make a quick correction.
I know, but I'm gonna submit to what you believe in.
Please allow me to make a quick correction.
However,
I want to make a quick correction.
Go ahead, brother.
So all I want to say is this: I'm actually wrong. It happened even later than when I said. The estimates of when the genetic change in skin color happened was 14,000 years ago. So it's literally Egypt existed when this transition was happening. So most Europeans still had brown skin during the reign of the Egyptian Empire.
Can we get back to God talking to people?
Yeah.
So warning, you made it.
Warning is gone.
Fuck.
I guess we're not gonna find out how he knows that God does yoga, right?
Listen, with people that talk in that mannerism, like almost being a street preacher right from the get-go, when they start talking and they say things like that and they're speaking in these grandiose general terms, you're not going to get specifics from people like that. 90% of the time, it's going to completely stay on this verbose track that they're on, grand sweeping conceptual things, no specifics, no details. I just don't even waste my time with people like that.
Well, I'll give some specifics on a topic that was brought up recently for the mods, and I totally respect your room, totally respect your rules to do with what you want, and I never ever tell anybody else what to say unless they're in my room. In my room, I don't allow the N-word at all. If anybody uses it, and I don't care who you are, you get one warning. You use it a second time, you are out. I completely understand why you mods in this room allow the people of a certain color skin to work it out for themselves, and I respect that. Me, and this is just me because it works for me, I don't allow anybody to use the N-word in my room.
That's cool. And I can understand that as well, decorum-wise. What I don't want to do is make it feel like people are going to be, because I mean, for a lot of people, it is just a regular part of the vernacular and not being used in necessarily a derogatory way. You know what I mean? If it's used in a derogatory way, I find it much easier to set those kind of boundaries. But a lot of times, it's as common as a New Yorker saying "fuck." You know what I mean? I mean, New York. Yeah. It's a common language thing. So I think in certain cases, I might actually take that approach, Steve. In a lot of cases, I'm going to take the other approach that I Steve.
Yeah, and I respect what you're saying, and I completely agree, or I completely do not dispute that you believe that to be true. However, it's not true. And I'll give you example one. The statement, well, as long as you're not using it in a derogatory fashion, it's okay. Well, if you come across a group of 25 people who are black and they're using that word as a term of endearment or for their friends, and then I come up, me and my white skin, and I say, hi, N-word, good to be here. I love you all. You N-words are great. A lot of them are going to be upset, pissed off, and want to beat the crap out of me, not because that I'm using it in a bad, derogatory way, but because I'm white, and I have no license to use that word in a friendly, enduring term like the 25 of them. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah, and you're probably not wrong, which actually would go to bolster the case, I think, in situations like this where it is a mixed crowd, to take a little bit more of a genteel, understanding approach. Now, if you had 5 of them that came in the room and just started yelling out at each other, yeah, I think it would be more than warranted to put a stop to it. But just when it comes up like it did, casually, in the conversation like that, I'm going to take the more metered approach. But again, I respect what you said.
And I totally respect the rules of your room. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. All right. Let's see. Well, we had a potential fun thing going on with the Warrior, but like I said, we weren't going to get anything out of him. Is there anybody? Oh, Toast, what's up? Hey, by the way, Toast, if you pop a GIF like that again, I won't tolerate that, bud. Okay, I will not. So just fair warning. I love you, man, but I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff. Anybody Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up? I feel like Toast is our only. Is Toast our only believer in the room?
Say that if you don't affirm Paul, you're not a true believer.
Oh no!
That's some people. That's some people.
Oh, I wonder who that could be
I'm
about.
too tired and lazy to like instinct.
I know Toast isn't anti-Pauline. I'm pretty sure, if I remember. I've found out a lot about Toast's positions. I don't know if he's held them for a long time or if his position has been evolving, but I'm always a little surprised with all the new little tidbits I find out about Toast's position on